good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living here in beautiful San Clemente. We're so glad to see you here in person, live. Yay, hooray, hooray, hooray. And hello still to our wonderful people that are watching from home, living room, jammies. Didn't want to get dressed. That's okay. We still love you. So we'd like you to join us on our first sing-along song led by our double duo here, the Woolridges and Allendale. And this is Make Your Own Kind of Music. And
stand up and sing with us.
Nobody can tell ya there's only one song worth singing. They may try and sell ya, 'cause it hangs them up to see someone like you. But you gotta make your own kind of music, sing your own special song, make your own kind of music, even if nobody else sings along. You're gonna be knowing the power of love within you. You know where you're going, just to be yourself, the only thing to do. 'Cause you gotta make your own kind of music, sing your own special song, make your own kind of music, even if nobody else sings along. You gotta make your own kind of music, sing your own special song, make your own kind of music, even if nobody else sings along. Sing your song.
Beautiful. That sounded so good with all of your voices. Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Capistrano Valley. Dr. Tom Costa from the Palm Desert Church always said, "This is the day the law has made, and I rejoice in it." So I woke up this morning thinking that. This is the day the law has made, and I rejoice in it. And it is a wonderful day to rejoice. Woohoo! What an exciting day we have today, all day long. We are a trans-denominational center and a non-denominational center. It's easy for you to say. I looked that up because I'm thinking, I've said that for years and years. What it means a person or an organization is not restricted to any particular or specific religious denomination. Yay, that's who we are. We love you all, and everyone is welcome here. Welcome home. We're going to start with our flames of faith like we always do. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence that we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and the practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring that Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and the path of peace. We light the candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And as practitioner Rick Dale lights that last candle, let it represent the path that brought you here this morning. Let us pray. We join together in this cosmic stream of love, joy, peace, and harmony, knowing that there truly is only one truth. That truth is that there is only one life, one God, one Spirit, one divine essence. And it is the first cause to all of creation. It is the space and the time, spaceless and timeless, the yin, the yang, the unconditional love, the joy, the beauty. All these qualities of God, each and every one, and so many more, live and move and express and is revealed through each one of us. We are the beloved. We are the expression of the divine. And we are the sacred activity of this energy, this vitality, and this glory. And so this morning I affirm and I decree that all is well. And each one of us is here on purpose, alive, awake, aware of this essence within us. I know that this morning is a revelation of joy, of truth, of happiness. I know that the music is inspiring. Reverend Alice's message is uplifting. I know that the connection that we feel with each other this morning is tangible and felt within each one. I am joyful. I am grateful. I let this prayer go into the universal mind, where I fill my heart with gratitude and deep thankfulness for this time together, for this teaching, for this sanctuary, for this service. And so I anchor this prayer. I anchor it in love. I anchor it in joy. And I anchor it in glory. As we say together, and so it is. Okay, our affirmation for today. Let's say it together. I consciously and confidently live my own truth. Yes, we do, and so it is. And now our declaration of principles. I believe in God, the one creative intelligence, operating through the universe and operating throughout my entire being, now and always. I believe this perfect spirit operates upon a law of mind and creates my experience exactly according to my belief. I believe this perfect creative intelligence can be used by me and by every other person to produce health, abundance, and love in mind, body, and total life experience. I use it now, and I rejoice in it. And so it is. Okay, and now, very excited, please welcome our Jewel Tone Trio, Rita, Jamie, and Kimberly.
As the ladies are coming up and getting ready, just to give you a little update, we started rehearsing in pandemic times in small groups, and then we had to cut it all down, and then we snuck it back in again when things opened up a little bit. And these ladies have been working so hard on their own, and we're so excited to start getting back to bigger choir, yay, in September. So these lovely ladies first going to share with you a song called Homeward Bound, which I thought was so appropriate as we all come back home to our lovely center, to being with each other, to caring for each other. And this song starts out featuring the lovely Rita.
In the quiet, misty morning, when the moon has gone to bed, when the sparrows start their singing, and the sun is bright and red, when the summer's just beginning, and the sky is blue and fine, with familiar faces beaming, I'll be homeward bound in time. I'll come back through the meadow to the sweet scented air. I'll be on my way to find you with a song and a prayer. If you find it's me you're missing, if you're hoping I'll return to your thoughts, I'll soon be listening. In the road I stop and turn, and the wind will set me racing as my journey nears its end, and the path I'll be retracing when I'm homeward bound again. I'll come back through the meadow to the sweet scented air. I'll be on my way to find you with a song and a prayer. In the quiet, misty morning, when the moon has gone to bed, when the sparrows start their singing, I'll be homeward bound again.
Rita McPhail, Jamie Kalama, and Kimberly Woldridge sharing with you this morning.
It's great. How wonderful to have live singers back again in our sanctuary. Yes, let's give them another hand. So wonderful. Just couldn't put the smile off my face this morning. Okay, you know that our yearly theme is Timeless Wisdom, Evolutionary Vision, and we went through that whole thing last week, at our 6-month point. And for the month of June, it's the Soul's Call, which is very appropriate for today. So our guest speaker today is a candidate for the position of our senior minister here at our center. She has studied the science of mind for over 20 years, and she has also explored many other avenues, Christianity, Buddhism, unity, 12-step, and many other spiritual paths. She's well-rounded, yes. She became a licensed minister 14 years ago and has created and grown 2 centers prior to this. Please stay after the service today where Reverend Alice will be giving a workshop, which is going to be just fabulous. So now let's give a very warm welcome to Reverend Alice Reed. Okay.
A little higher. Good morning. I'm thrilled to be here with you today. I want to start by thanking the Board of Trustees and the Selection Committee for inviting me here today. It takes a lot of heart and a lot of time and a lot of effort to move through a transition like this. And so if I could ask the selection team and the Board of Trustees to stand so that we can give them a little sugar like the teens do. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I also want to offer a blessing for Dr. Heather. It's my understanding that she will be headed to Canada tomorrow. And I know that she is holding you all in her heart. As you are holding her, she goes on to this new adventure. And so let's also just rub our hands together and think about all the love that we have for Dr. Heather and all that she's done for this center. And then we just hold our hands out, honoring her for all she has given us individually and as a community. So good morning. I am thrilled to be here with you, and I am excited to be able to get to know you. I've met many of your folks, your leadership folks, over the last couple of days, and I still have a lot to learn about this center. I really do. But I think the theme this month of A Soul's Call is ideal for what we are all doing here on this Sunday morning as we begin to look at what will be the next evolution of this beloved center. What will be the next evolution of each one of us as we step into the unknown? I have enjoyed this month's theme because it really dives deep into those places that we don't usually talk about in everyday life. We don't usually talk about pushing, having pain push us. We don't usually talk about the wisdom of discomfort. Those aren't the things that we're, meet our friends for coffee. Let's talk about our pain, shall we? But I know that the soul has a call to each one of us, and that if we're not attuned to it, if we're not allowing ourselves to align with that call, sometimes it has to get our attention. And so that's the time to pay attention to the pain and discomfort, the things that come up. We also talked this month with this theme about the love that draws us towards our individual and our collective evolution, and that in my purview and the way I see things, it's love that really brings us forward so that we can begin to take that next step. We're always growing, aren't we? Always growing. There's always changing. There's always something for us to pay attention to. And if you're like me and you've been around this philosophy for a while, you've probably heard this phrase a couple of times, once or twice maybe, that we are divine beings having a human experience, right? You heard that a couple of times. And I have come to understand that that human experience really represents the propensity for us to forget our oneness and to believe in the illusion of our separateness. It's pretty easy to do. I mean, I'm up here, you're in your chairs, I have my house, you have your house. We do seem to have this experience of living separate lives. But the truth is that at our very DNA, at the core of the root of who we are deeply connected. And I think it's hard to remember that when we are in changing times. I think it's hard to remember that. I'm like you, I have been walking through this very unusual time in human history when the entire world has experienced a pandemic. We've all been moved through this process of needing to be sequestered from each other, and now we're beginning to walk that out again. And that certainly seems to be this demonstration of our belief in separation. What I know is that it's our core beliefs that create our reality. I bet you've heard that a couple times too. And so if we really want to have an understanding of what's going on in our subconscious, the subtle thoughts that aren't right there at the surface, you just need to look around and look at your life. You need to look at the world and see what's going on. I have come to believe that life, this thing we call life, is kind of like a hall of mirrors, right? Where everywhere I look, when I'm paying attention, I see myself. I see myself because I'm projecting those core beliefs, those feelings, those ideas that I carry in my subconscious and in the subjective, I project them out to you. I'm thinking you might do the same. I don't think I'm alone in this. I have a little story to tell you about a friend who really demonstrates this principle. She was watching the Howard Stern show. Do you know who Howard Stern is out here on the West Coast? He really made his name because he was outspoken. Well, truth be known, he was quite belligerent and very outspoken. And she was watching his late night TV one evening, and he brought out this beautiful woman onto the set, and he and a friend had laser pointers, and they were pointing out all her flaws. She was incensed by this. It made her so angry, and she carried it around for days. She couldn't figure out why she couldn't let it go. And then one day she was standing in front of the mirror, putting on her makeup, getting ready to go to work, and she caught herself picking out all the unlovely things about herself in the mirror. And suddenly it landed that the reason that had come up for her, that discomfort and that pain of watching that awful segment on TV, the reason it had come up for her because it was her time to recognize this behavior, this thought that was in her subjective. It wanted to come up to be healed. And I believe that's what happens when we are walking out in the world and we begin to see some things that are uncomfortable or unlovely, that they're there to help us get back to wholeness, not to torture us, not to make us crazy, but to bring us home to our center, to bring us home to love. When I think about the human condition, I notice that oftentimes it's very easy for us to begin to look down upon our life and to pick out those things that we don't like. They get our attention. Maybe I'm the only one. Maybe I'm the only one. But how many times have you been in a situation where you have 10 people who tell you how happy they are with whatever project or activity that you're doing, and then you have one person that says, I don't know, I don't really like that very much. And we don't focus on, we don't take in all that good stuff. Instead, we begin to focus on that little picky piece that somebody mentioned, and we fixate on that. That's the human condition. That's the ego's call, to look at those imperfections in those places in life that we want to change or fix. But the soul's call is really a calling to remember our perfection, to remember our wholeness, and to be brought back to that time and time again. However, we live in a world that doesn't necessarily operate like that. We live in a world where people don't always recognize that what's happening out here in the world is a result of yesterday's ideas. I like to say that everything's created twice, once in mind and consciousness, and then in form. And so as we look around the world, as we look around our life, those things that we're not comfortable with, the things that we feel need to be changed, are really products of yesterday's ideas and yesterday's thoughts. And so I think sometimes we can really get stuck in there. And it's things like coming to a spiritual community when we can reflect our wholeness to one another, taking a class, listening to the beautiful music, being together to reflect our wholeness is when we begin to come home to our higher self, begin to come home to the true nature of our spiritual beingness. I think that some of the challenges that we have about remembering our wholeness come from this condition that we have to really look for people who are like us, people who look like us. We're sort of wired in this human culture to begin to separate people who are different, to cleave and to hold, and it's easier to love somebody who looks like me and thinks like me and talks like me and walks like me. And so oftentimes we find ourselves subconsciously or consciously rejecting that is dissimilar. And if you think about it, if you think about how we have evolved as human beings, there was a time where you had to stay close to the tribe. That's where safety was, because that was part of survival. And anything that was really different might kill you, might end your life, might change your existence drastically. That was the age of survival. But I don't believe we're in that age of survival. Now, I know there are parts of the world that there are people who still struggle very much on a day-to-day basis, but I would venture to say here in the United States, in our westernized culture, that we are no longer at that place in our evolution where we have to focus on just surviving. We are entering an age of thriving. And so in order to do that, we have to look at those places where our wires might be crossed so that we can begin to uncross those wires. Look at our behaviors. Look at the ways that we talk to people. Look at the ways that we react to things. I remember well a time when my daughter was about 13 or 14, and she came home one day, and she had shaved her head. I didn't greet her with joy. As a matter of fact, I said some things that I regret to this day. I was angry with her, and I remember accusing her of being self-destructive. Like, how could you be so self-destructive to do something like this? And it wasn't until a couple of days later, when I was dropping her off at school, and I watched her get out of the car and go up the steps with all the other youth, that it struck me. All the other girls had ponytails and little short denim shorts and sneakers and little T-shirts, and there was my Emma with not a hair on her head and a baggy pants and a baggy shirt, and I realized the bravery and the courage it took for her to be authentic, to be who she was, at a time when it wasn't cool to be authentic. It's a little more hipster now to be different. But when we begin to listen to the soul's call, when we begin to look at what it is that's drawing us forward, it takes courage. It takes a little bravery. It takes acceptance. Because let's be honest, it's just a lot easier if we're more alike. But if we really want to step into this beautiful vision that Centers for Spiritual Living has of a world that works for all, it's going to require that we open up. A world that works for all isn't asking people to be compliant with certain social norms that don't work for everyone. A world that works for all has to do with love and acceptance, unconditional love, that we open to other individuals so that we begin to see the richness of life, the richness of diversity, the richness of individuals who are brave enough to stand in their own authenticity. One of our most basic human instincts is the longing to belong. But belonging shouldn't mean forgoing our authentic nature. We belong to each other at the level of our DNA, not at the level of our skin color or what we wear or our sexual orientation. We belong to each other because we are divine beings having a spiritual experience. And it's up to us to remind each other of that when the rubber meets the road and life gets busy, and sometimes it's hard to remember that when you're juggling a lot and you're trying to make your way in the day-to-day world. There's a beautiful poem by Rumi, and you're probably familiar with a few of the lines, but I'd like to read the entire poem. It's called The Great Wagon, and it goes like this. When I see your face, the stones start spinning. You appear, all studying wanders. I lose my place. Water turns pearly. Fire dies down and doesn't destroy. In your presence, I don't want what I thought I wanted, those 3 little hanging lamps. Inside your face, the ancient manuscripts seem to disappear like rusty mirrors. You breathe, new shapes appear, and the music of a desire is widespread as spring begins to move like a great wagon. Drive slowly. Some of us walking aside are lame. Today, like every other day, we wake up empty and frightened. Don't open the door to the study and begin reading. Take down a musical instrument. Let the beauty we love be what we do. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make sense anymore. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the door sill where the 2 worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. I would love to kiss you. The price of kissing is your life. Now my loving is running toward my life, shouting, "What a bargain, let's buy it." Daylight, full of small dancing particles, and the one great turning. Our souls are dancing with you. Without feet, they dance. Can you see them when I whisper in your ear? They try to say what you are, spiritual or sexual. They wonder about Solomon and his wives. In the body of the world, they say, there is a soul, and you are that. But we have ways within each other that will never be said by anyone. Come to the orchard in spring. There is light and wine and sweethearts in the pomegranate flowers. If you do not come, these do not matter. If you do come, these do not matter. Rumi reminds us that there is so much more to life than what we see, that life is full and rich and meaningful beyond what Madison Avenue tells us is important. And so as we close this month with the soul's call, my invitation to you is to remember what your call is. What is the soul calling forward within you? This is our time to stay awake, to listen to the call, to support each other as we walk that out. Thank you very much for inviting me here today. I'd like to pray after a talk, and if you don't mind, I'd love to do that, and then we can go on with the program. So if you'll join me in this spiritual mind treatment, just closing your eyes, allowing yourself to be supported by the chair beneath you, breathing in the beautiful scent of this beautiful community, knowing that that power and that presence is forever individuating itself over and over again in glorious ways. I trust that as we move through our week this week, that we will continue to listen for that subtle voice of the Spirit, of the soul, calling us forward to love, to joy, to acceptance, to freedom, calling us forward to who we have come here to be. It is with a joy-filled heart that I speak this word, that I know this highest truth for myself and for each one within the sound of my voice. For I know that God, Spirit, that thing that makes the grass grow, is forever beckoning us forward, longing for us as we long for it. And so I know for each one the courage to be authentic, the courage to be true, the courage to love deeply. It is with a joy-filled and surrendered heart that I speak this word, knowing this highest truth, and knowing it is the law. It is the law that carries us the heavy burden. It is we who simply are willing. And I anchor this prayer in that same willingness and love as we say together, and so it is. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Alice. And now, once again, our Jewel Tone Trio.
We're going to need you to do some clapping in the middle of this next song.
It's wonderful.
I'll lead you along. And sing along if you want. It's Bill Withers' fabulous song called Lean on Me, which we're all here to do, support each other, love each other. And our gems are ready as close. Here we go.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have faith you need to borrow, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call on me. You just call on me, sister, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. You just might have a problem that I'll understand. you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have faith you need to borrow, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. Just call me, sister, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. You just might have a problem that I'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Call me, call me, call me, call me, call me.
Wow, that was great. Love it. Thank you. And y'all look so pretty up there, like jewels. Yes. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, it's time now for our offering. And we aren't passing the baskets yet. Probably by next week we'll have our chairs back together again and passing in the baskets. But today we're not. So it is your day to make a contribution to this center and where you get your spiritual food. We have baskets by the doors, this door, that door, that door. Any basket you find, just go ahead and put it in that. Or if you, however you want to do it. And those of you online, if you go to our website, there's a place where you can donate there, or you can just mail in a check. So we appreciate all your tithes, all your giving. So we're so grateful. So let's say our offering together. My offering is my acceptance of God as the source of my supply, and it symbolizes my faith in the abundant flow of this supply.
And this is a special offering again from the Gems.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Oh, imagine there's no country. no need for greed or hunger, a brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Be as one. We'll be as one.
Rita McPhail, Jamie Kalama, Kimberly Wooldridge.
Tears to my eyes. Those of you that have been around the center for a while, we sang that every Wednesday night at Wednesday's Wisdom for about 15 years. So, yes, it was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's give another hand to the Jewel Tones. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank this wonderful band, David Page, and we have our guest on, give me a minute here. Give me a minute here. Missy Hassan on cello. Thank you so much. Thank you. Beautiful. Ed Cusby and our wonderful music director, choir director, Diane King-Van. Thank you so much. So very beautiful. In the sound booth today, we have Josh Tanner and we have Mary Brogdon. And on the camera today, we have Paul Manetsky. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. And once again, let us thank Reverend Alice for your beautiful inspirational talk this morning. Thank you. We have stopped doing the Zoom on Coffee and Conversations. We now have live practitioners right here at the center. There's 2 tables at the back if you want to have a taste of a spiritual mind treatment and affirmative prayer. Our practitioners today are Reverend Carla Shiradas, Patrick Freeman, and Kay Allen. So they are available to you after the service. So now we'll have some invitations from Rick and Karen.
All right. You want to start?
I'll start. Stay after the service so you can meet Reverend Alice and get to know her better, all the while enjoying lunch provided by the center. Then Reverend Alice will be providing us with a workshop, Remembering Who You've Come Here to Be, where she will guide us through storytelling, principle, and practice to tap into our own individual greater yet to be. It's from 12:30 to 2 p.m. and childcare is provided.
And Conscious Connection will resume next week. And it will be in person, so it will no longer be on Zoom as well. And this Friday evening, July 2nd at 7 p.m., our Women's Circle will be meeting in person here, and we'll have a reconnecting ritual celebration.
Our youth program is back. Woohoo! The kids are meeting outdoors, weather permitting. It's a great opportunity for their spiritual growth through play and interaction. If you have any questions about our youth program, please see Tony Sparks or Becca Phillips.
And of course, our other wonderful groups are still meeting. We have Shifting Sands on Thursday mornings, Coming Home, Awakening to Spirit on Friday mornings, and Happy Hour Friday evenings. So if you want more details on that, see your weekly email. And I think we're done. What do you think?
Let's sing.
I think it's time to stand and sing together.
What is mine to give? What is mine to do? All I want is to share myself with you. what can I do? What is mine to give? I give it to you. What is mine to give? What is mine to do? All I want is to share myself with you. So I stand here asking, what can I do? What is mine to give? I give it to you. What is mine to give? What is mine to do? All I want is to share myself with you. So I stand here asking, what can I do? What is mine to give? I give it to you. What is mine to give? I give it to you.
Go ahead.
Okay, so it's time for our benediction. I invite each one to simply close their eyes and take in the power of my words, knowing that as we move through our week, we continue to ask this beautiful question, what is mine to give? We allow Spirit to infuse us with its wisdom and its intelligence, intermingled with our own wisdom and intelligence, and we walk out this week in power and in presence. I give great thanks for this, and so it is.
So it is.